it just pains me to see wasted energy, as Jim mentioned this morning. It's the most cost-effective way to lower the demand. And so I tell people, you want to put solar on the roof, great, but don't leave the lights on when there's nobody in the room underneath, whether it's AC or DC. Many of these people in the room, including board member Robert Stasko will speak later, and Erie, who's been with me, and Gino, who's been, and Leon, who's our vice chair. We've seen this since the Green Energy Act. It's economic to save energy. My own company, Sustainable Environmental Solutions, has been around for over 30 years looking at technologies that facilitate saving money. And yes, it's not, some of them are not a quick payback, especially things like the building envelope. Our energy is going down the drain, going out the walls, going out the windows, going up the chimney, and we just don't keep it in the building. Although passive house, I just saw a presentation on passive house in the US. And so basically, the journey is a flexible step-by-step roadmap, focuses on net site UI, energy unit intensity. It tries to show that there are many buildings that are not going to get fully electrified. Many of them can't even have a transformer that will allow them to get off gas and move to a heat pump, as BC Hydro and others have found out. So basically, it's a journey. You get points, you answer questions. And again, like any journey, you can go halfway, you can go all the way. How deep you want to go is very dependent on how much it costs for your particular building. These companies have proven it. They did a pilot, even Brookfield, that has properties both here and in Canada and US. The other ones are American companies that did their journeys, and they showed that it was very cost effective. I could have had 15 more slides in this deck on all the buildings and how they saved, etc. But my point is, it works. Is it perfect? Nothing's perfect. It is applicable to Canada. Everything that's in that has been reviewed by me, by another engineer, an energy manager, by a board member, so that any question, if it's applied to Rhode Island or Ontario, it applies. Subject to different incentives and different costs of energy. Because what drives these is, if you're paying 44 cents, like my friend David Katz, believe it or not, with the same name in New York has, he told me, David, you pay 18 cents and you complain. I'm paying 44 cents a kilowatt hour in New York. And that's why I have technologies right on my table that shows getting exterior secondary windows in New York and Boston to avoid paying the law 97 rate, to avoid paying the fine, and literally turning their building windows into triple pane. Then maybe getting off gas and going to what we learned today, absorption heat pump, whatever. So this is a process, green building. You start pretty much like benchmarking. You look at your carbon. They do have a journey to net zero energy and journey to net zero carbon. But they're simultaneously, overlapped in many cases. So the energy calculator, again, you look at what is cost, what are the reduction opportunities, what are the incentives that you can get, then help prioritize retrofit measures. When the American came up from Interviews Windows to Montreal, actually, and met the CIB lady, the lady that funds, CIB funds deep retrofits. And the deeper you go, the better your interest rate is, the lower your interest rate is in CIB loans. And so she said, we don't have that there. Now they do have financing, but again, it's all about the money, and it's all about what position you're in terms of the real estate and the market and the type of buildings. So there's a calculator. I won't go into all the ways it works. There's a dashboard. The key to decarbonization are these principles. And it's about energy efficiency measures. But if you seal the building and you don't breathe fresh air and your indoor air quality is bad, I think we heard a debate between ventilation and filtration from ASHRAE. So we have to think about the occupant, not about the utility bill, about the occupant, as you saw on many of these presentations. So there's a recognition level, like all these programs, you do up to 50%, you get like certified. If you go deeper, you can get certification, you can have it reviewed by a GBI expert to make sure that what you say in a platform on software is actually what's happening in your building. And that's no different than the EAQ or our building intelligence quotient, which I can talk about later. We make smart buildings and we make them better. So there's a recognition. I took the page from the technical guide. I'm happy to share the technical guide with anybody to see if it's what you feel would be applicable to your clients, your buildings. And again, here's an example they did where we know that if you have upgrades for HVAC, you can do 15 to 25%. We heard that just today from better. I mean, we have equipment that's 25 years old that isn't being replaced because it's still the 25-year-old motor. It still has economizers that don't work. Nobody cares. 70% of the buildings, when tested, are showing that they're not even doing proper ventilation. Save on Energy just did a whole session between Stephen Dixon, Mr. Red Screen expert, and the gentleman from Quebec on just the waste in ventilation on small buildings. Like, it's unbelievable. And many of them is somebody rents, but somebody else owns the building, and somebody else won't call the maintenance guy to pay $1 to unscrew the whatever or fix the economizer. But the person in the building pays Toronto Hydro or Enbridge, right? So we have split incentives. So all these challenges are important, but there are ways to overcome them. And many of them are network lighting controls. I presented at Canada Light Expo just last week, or November the 12th or 13th. And literally the lighting experts are all in the room, IES champions. And I said, why aren't you all getting the 30% or 40 cents a kilowatt hour for network lighting controls from Save on Energy? And they go, no, the clients won't buy in. We can't get them to buy that extra stuff. I said, because you don't show them that our Toronto Hydro bill is going to be less because you are controlling the lighting, whether it's Dali, whether it's backnet, whether it's lawn, it's doable. And if you put solar on the roof and a battery in your building, as Nanny just showed, and you get it paid 50% by Save on Energy, but then you leave the lights on. So we have to take a holistic approach. In terms of window retrofits, people thought I was crazy when I brought magnetite, which I met at the Green Home Show. And literally those two devices, there's an acrylic panel that literally can turn all these windows into triple pane. But it's not a 2-year payback. And there's window film, there's 3M film, there's solar film. There are incentives now with the custom solution that allow, whether it's an engineer like Dr. Zhu and I, who can then show the Save on Energy people, this is what was there now. This is what we're putting in terms of the billing envelope. This is the summer peak demand reduction, and get $1,800 a kilowatt towards that. When that program started out, and Bala, who was the BOMA guy, he started out at $400 just to get people to put solar film on a downtown Toronto building. Then it went to $800. Then it went to $1,000. We had $1,000 incentive that we were trying to give to buildings, and they just didn't buy it. And now it went to $1,200, and the last version is $1,800. So I'm just going to go, when you do a better building, 1, it's more productive. 2, the people in the building, if they're healthier, they are more productive. You have better lighting that has better results. I actually presented on daylighting project I did with Hudson Bay and my accountant's office. So there are non-energy benefits. You get a better building, and the people in it are better. Is there a comparison? Yes, CAGBC has a zero carbon or zero carbon first framework. You can get it, you can buy it, you can do it. We're not saying don't do it. We're saying there's an alternative, and it's available through OSUA and through our experts. And so my call to action is review it, use the calculator to see where you stand, recognition, find out how much it's going to cost to do these things, but how much are you going to get, whether it's an investment tax credit, save on energy, what can be stacked.